There is a quiet power that comes into your life the moment you stop explaining yourself. Most people talk too much about what they are going to do and very little about what they are actually doing. They share plans early, long before results exist. They speak out of excitement, not out of progress. And slowly, without realizing it, they trade action for conversation. If you want to move forward in a serious way, this habit must end. Every time you explain your plans, you invite opinions that you did not ask for. Some people will doubt you. Some will discourage you. Some will pretend to support you, but secretly hope you stay where you are. Even kind people can damage your focus without meaning to. Not everyone understands your vision, and they do not need to. Your future does not require a committee meeting. When plans stay private, they stay strong. They are protected from outside noise. Your energy remains clean. Your attention stays where it belongs. Explaining your goals too early creates emotional pressure. You feel watched. You feel judged. You start working to impress instead of working to improve. That pressure drains your strength before the work even begins. There is also another danger most people ignore. Talking about plans can give the mind a false sense of progress. The brain feels rewarded just by speaking. You feel productive without producing anything. Days pass, weeks pass. The talking continues, but the results do not. Silence removes that trap. Silence forces you to work because there is no applause coming. Focus grows in quiet. When you wake up and know that nobody expects an update, your mind becomes sharper. You move at your own pace. You make better decisions. You adjust without explaining. You fail without embarrassment. You learn without distraction. This is where real progress lives. Many people believe they need encouragement to keep going. That belief is weak. Strength comes from commitment, not from approval. When your work depends on people cheering, your discipline collapses the moment they stop clapping. Quiet effort builds inner strength. You learn to rely on your standards, not on someone else's opinion. Silence also teaches patience. Big results take time. Growth is slow. Skills take repetition. When you stop announcing what you are building, you allow time to work for you instead of against you. You stop rushing the process just to prove something. You give yourself permission to grow properly. Think about how much energy is wasted explaining why you started, explaining where you are going, explaining why it is taking time. All of that energy could be used to improve your skills, refine your habits, and strengthen your discipline. Quiet people save energy. They invest it wisely. There is also freedom in not being understood. When nobody knows your plans, nobody can interfere. Nobody can shape your direction. Nobody can pull you into debates that do not matter. You stay centered. You stay calm. You stay focused on the work that moves your life forward. This does not mean hiding out of fear. It means choosing discipline over noise. It means understanding that results speak more clearly than explanations ever will. Now, when the work is finished, when progress is visible, no explanation is needed. People understand success very well. You do not owe the world an early preview of your future. You owe yourself commitment. You owe yourself effort. You owe yourself patience. Speak less, do more, build quietly, improve daily, protect your focus like it matters, because it does. The strongest people are often the quietest. They are not distracted by the need to be seen. They are not slowed down by the need to be understood. So they know where they are going, and that is enough. When you stop explaining your plans, you stop leaking energy. You stop feeding doubt. You stop inviting delay. Stay silent, stay focused, stay working. One day, the results will speak for you, and they will say more than words ever could. Silence does more than keep your plans private. Silence protects your focus and your energy in a world that constantly tries to steal both. Every day, people are pulled in 100 directions by noise. Messages, Opinions, comparisons, advice, and expectations surround them from morning until night. Most do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because their attention is scattered. When attention is scattered, energy drains away without producing anything meaningful. Focus is fragile. It does not survive well in loud environments. The moment you start sharing what you are working on, your mind begins to split. Part of it stays on the task, but another part starts thinking about reactions. Will they approve? Will they doubt? Will they remember? Will they ask for updates? That mental division weakens your effort. Silence removes that division. When no one knows, your mind stays whole. When no one knows, your mind stays whole. Energy is one of your most valuable assets. You wake up with a limited amount each day. If you spend it talking, defending, explaining, or reacting, there is less left for building. Silence acts like a shield. It keeps your emotional energy from being pulled into unnecessary conversations. You stop reacting to every comment and every opinion. You begin responding only to the work itself. There is a deep calm that comes from quiet focus. When you are not trying to impress anyone, your breathing slows, your thinking clears, you make better choices. You notice details others miss. Quiet effort creates a steady rhythm. You work, you rest, you reflect, and then you work again. No rush, no performance, just progress. Many people underestimate how draining it is to constantly share updates. Even positive reactions can weaken you. Praise feels good, but it can make you comfortable too early. It can make you feel finished when you are only beginning. Silence keeps you hungry. It keeps your standards high. It keeps you honest about how far you still need to go. Silence also protects you from comparison. Once people know what you are doing, they begin comparing your path to others. They mention someone who did it faster, someone who failed, someone who quit. These comparisons slip into your mind, even if you try to ignore them. Quiet work avoids that trap. Your journey stays your own. When focus is protected, consistency becomes easier. You show up daily without drama. You do the work even when motivation is low. You rely on routine, not emotion. Silence supports discipline because it removes distractions that feed impatience. You stop needing quick results to feel validated. There is another benefit most people miss. Silence gives you room to think deeply. Deep thinking does not happen in noisy spaces. It happens when the mind is not busy reacting. In silence, you evaluate your direction honestly. You notice what is working and what is not. You make adjustments quietly without explaining your changes to anyone. That flexibility is power. People often say they need accountability. What they really need is integrity. True accountability is internal. It is the promise you keep to yourself when no one is watching. Silence strengthens that muscle. When nobody expects progress reports, the only pressure left is your own standard. That pressure, when guided by discipline, produces real growth. Silence also trains emotional control. You learn to sit with uncertainty. You learn to work without immediate feedback. You learn to trust the process instead of chasing reassurance. These skills matter not just in work, but in life. Calm minds last longer. Focused minds go further. The world rewards visible success, but it is built in invisible hours. Quiet mornings, focused evenings, repeated effort that nobody applauds. Silence makes those hours possible. It keeps your energy directed forward instead of outward. When you protect your focus, you protect your future. Noise will always be available. Opinions will always be offered. Most of them add nothing to your progress. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. It is strength. It is self-respect. Stay quiet long enough to hear your own thoughts clearly. Stay focused long enough to see real improvement. Stay disciplined long enough for results to take shape. When the work is complete, noise will come on its own. Until then, silence keeps your energy where it belongs. Working quietly without seeking validation is one of the strongest decisions a person can make. Validation feels comforting, but it comes with a hidden cost. When you rely on approval, your effort becomes tied to other people's reactions. Progress slows because your mind keeps checking for signals from the outside instead of listening to the work in front of you. Real growth happens when no one is clapping. It happens in moments that feel ordinary and even boring. Quiet work teaches patience. It teaches you to respect effort even when there is no audience. This is where character forms. When you keep going without praise, you build strength that does not depend on mood or attention. Seeking validation often comes from uncertainty. People want reassurance that they are on the right path. But reassurance does not come from others. It comes from daily action. Each small step completed adds confidence. Each task finished strengthens belief. Quiet work creates proof. Proof is more powerful than encouragement. There is freedom in working without needing approval. You stop adjusting your behavior to please others. You stop shaping your goals to sound impressive. You focus on what truly matters to you. This clarity sharpens your decisions. Your effort becomes cleaner and more direct. When validation is removed, discipline takes its place. Discipline does not need praise. It operates on commitment. It shows up whether the day feels good or not. Quiet work allows discipline to grow without interference. You train yourself to act because it is necessary, not because it is noticed. Many people lose momentum because they talk more than they work. Conversation creates a false sense of progress. Talking feels productive, but it does not move anything forward. Quiet effort removes that illusion. You know exactly where you stand because results become your only measure. Working quietly also protects you from emotional swings. Praise can lift you too high. Criticism can pull you too low. When both are absent, your state of mind stays stable. Stability leads to consistency. Consistency leads to improvement. There is also a deep satisfaction that comes from private effort. You know what you have endured. You know how many times you chose to continue when it would have been easier to stop. That self-respect cannot be taken away because it was not given by anyone else. Quiet workers develop patience with themselves. They understand progress takes time. They do not rush to announce unfinished work. They allow ideas to mature. They allow skills to sharpen. This patience produces quality. Quality lasts longer than attention. Validation often creates pressure to perform instead of improve. Quiet work removes that pressure. You are free to learn, adjust, and grow without judgment. Mistakes become lessons instead of embarrassments. Growth becomes natural. People who work quietly often surprise others later. Their progress seems sudden, but it is not. It is the result of long, unseen effort. While others were seeking approval, they were building ability. While others were waiting for encouragement, they were strengthening habits. Quiet work also sharpens focus. Without the need to share updates, your attention stays on the task. You move faster. You think clearer. You make better use of time. Energy stays concentrated instead of scattered. This approach builds inner confidence. Confidence that comes from action is calm and steady. It does not need to announce itself. It shows in posture, tone, and decisions. People sense it without explanation. Working quietly does not mean hiding. It means prioritizing substance over attention. It means understanding that real progress does not require an audience. The work itself becomes the reward. When you stop chasing validation, you reclaim control. Your effort becomes personal. Your progress becomes meaningful. Your results become solid. In the end, the strongest voice is the one that does not need to speak. Discipline is what carries you forward when motivation fades. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls with mood, weather, praise, and comfort. Discipline is different. Discipline is a decision made once and honored daily. When you rely on motivation, you work only when you feel ready. When you rely on discipline, you work because the work matters. Most people wait to feel inspired before they act. That habit keeps them stuck, Feelings are unreliable. Some days you wake up energized, other days heavy and tired. Discipline removes that uncertainty. It creates structure. It tells you what to do, even when your mind argues. That structure becomes freedom because it removes constant decision-making. Discipline starts small. It begins with showing up when it would be easier not to. It means doing the task even when no one is watching. Each time you follow through, you strengthen trust in yourself. That trust becomes confidence. Confidence built this way is quiet and strong. Motivation often depends on external factors. Praise, excitement, new ideas, or fear can spark it. Discipline depends on values. When your actions are guided by values, they remain steady. Values do not change daily, they anchor behavior. This steadiness creates momentum. When discipline replaces motivation, excuses lose power. You stop negotiating with yourself. The work becomes non-negotiable. This does not make life harsh. It makes life clear. Clarity reduces stress because you know what must be done. Discipline also protects your energy. Emotional swings waste energy. Discipline conserves it. You move through your task with calm focus. You stop overthinking. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You act with intention. Many people misunderstand discipline as punishment. It is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It is choosing long-term benefit over short-term comfort. Each discipline choice sends a message to your mind that you are dependable. Discipline creates identity. When you act consistently, you start seeing yourself differently. You become someone who follows through. That identity reinforces behavior. The habit feeds the belief, and the belief feeds the habit. There will be days when motivation is absent. Those days test character. Discipline carries you through them. Each completed task on those days builds resilience. Resilience grows only under pressure. Discipline also improves focus. You stop chasing excitement. You commit to progress. This focus compounds over time. Small actions repeated daily create noticeable change. Discipline understands time. It works patiently. People who rely on motivation often start strong and stop early. People who rely on discipline start steadily and continue longer. Endurance outperforms excitement. Consistency outlasts intensity. Discipline simplifies life. It reduces clutter in your mind. You know when to work and when to rest. You remove guilt because you honor commitments. Rest becomes earned, not avoided work. Quiet discipline also sharpens skill. Practice without drama improves ability. You get better because you show up. Improvement becomes predictable. Predictable improvement builds confidence. When discipline becomes routine, effort feels lighter. What once felt difficult becomes normal. This is how growth feels from the inside. It is not loud. It is steady. Discipline does not require constant effort. It requires commitment. Once habits form, they carry you. This is why disciplined people seem calm. Their systems support them. Replacing motivation with discipline changes how you view challenges. Challenges become part of the process, not obstacles. You expect effort. You accept discomfort. This acceptance removes resistance. Over time, discipline creates results that speak for themselves. Those results are stable because they are built on consistent action. No rush, no noise, just progress. When discipline leads, your actions align with your goals. You stop waiting for the right feeling. You become reliable to yourself. That reliability becomes strength. In the end, discipline is the quiet force that shapes outcomes. It does not ask for attention. It produces results, and results change everything. Other people's opinions can slow you down faster than failure ever will. Failure teaches. Opinions confuse. When you open your plans, your pace, and your goals to everyone's judgment, you invite noise into a space that needs clarity. Progress requires focus, and focus weakens when too many voices compete for attention. Most opinions are not based on understanding. They are based on personal fear, past disappointment, or limited experience. When someone speaks from that place, their words carry hesitation. If you accept those words, hesitation becomes part of your thinking. That is how progress quietly stops. Not every opinion is harmful, but most are unnecessary. Progress does not need agreement from the crowd. It needs commitment from you. When you listen to too many views, you start adjusting your path before you have walked far enough to learn from it. This constant adjustment creates confusion. Confusion drains energy. People often give opinions to feel important, not to help. They speak quickly without carrying responsibility for the outcome. You carry the weight. You live with the results. That is why their opinion should never outweigh your discipline. When you chase approval, you begin shaping your actions to please others instead of serving your purpose. This shift is subtle. At first, it feels harmless. Over time, it pulls you away from your own standards. You start questioning decisions that were once clear. That questioning slows action. Progress requires a filter. Not every voice deserves access to your mind. Wisdom means knowing which opinions matter and which do not. Opinions that distract usually sound confident, but offer no practical direction. They point out problems without offering solutions. They focus on risk without understanding vision. Listening to too many opinions creates hesitation. Hesitation breaks rhythm. Rhythm is important because it builds momentum. Momentum is what carries you through hard days. Without it, every task feels heavier. People who make real progress learn to be selective listeners. They listen to experience, not noise. They listen to results, not commentary. This selectiveness is not arrogance. It is self-protection. Opinions can also create fear. Someone may warn you about what could go wrong. They may speak about failure as if it is permanent. That fear can settle in your mind and grow. Fear does not stop you immediately. It slows you first. Then it convinces you to delay. Delay turns into avoidance. Progress needs action. Action needs courage. Courage weakens when fear is fed by unnecessary opinions. That is why silence is powerful. Silence keeps fear from multiplying. Another danger of opinions is comparison. People often compare your path to someone else's timeline. This comparison creates pressure. Pressure leads to rushed decisions. Rushed decisions lead to regret. Your path is your responsibility. It unfolds at its own pace. When you focus on opinions, you lose connection with your own judgment. Self-trust fades when you rely too much on external voices. Without self-trust, even simple decisions feel heavy. You begin to doubt your instincts. Progress improves judgment. You learn by doing. Each step forward sharpens clarity. Opinions interrupt this learning process. They introduce second-guessing before experience has time to teach. Protecting your focus means limiting exposure to opinions that do not align with growth. This does not mean ignoring all feedback. It means choosing feedback that is constructive, honest, and experienced. Feedback should guide, not. People who move forward quietly often appear calm. That calm comes from reduced mental noise. Fewer opinions mean clearer thinking. Clear thinking leads to better action. Opinions also distract by shifting attention outward. Progress requires inward focus. It requires attention to effort, improvement, and discipline. When attention moves outward, energy follows. Energy spent managing opinions is energy not spent building results. It is important to remember that most people do not see your full picture. They see a moment. They see a surface. Decisions made from limited view cannot guide a long journey. Progress becomes easier when you accept that not everyone will understand your choices. Understanding is not required for success. Commitment is. Learning to ignore distractions is a skill. Like any skill, it improves with practice. Each time you choose action over opinion, you strengthen focus. Each time you trust your process, confidence grows. Opinions fade quickly. Results last. When results appear, opinions often change. Those who doubted may admire. Those who warned may praise. This shift proves that opinions were never stable enough to guide you. Progress asks for patience. Opinions often demand speed or caution without balance. Patience listens to progress, not noise. When you protect your focus, your work deepens, you make decisions faster. You move with purpose. You stop explaining and start building. In the end, opinions are easy to give. Progress is hard to earn. Choose the path that builds something real. Focus on action. Let clarity replace noise. Let progress become your answer. Real progress becomes undeniable when effort is consistent and quiet. Reputation should never come before results. When people chase recognition first, they end up managing an image instead of building a life. An image requires constant attention. A solid result stands on its own without maintenance. The strongest confidence comes from knowing you have done the work, not from hearing others praise you. Many people want to be known before they are ready. They want titles before skills. They want applause before effort. This creates pressure to perform instead of pressure to improve. When reputation becomes the goal, decisions start revolving around how things look rather than how they work. That is a dangerous shift. Results come from discipline repeated over time. They are built when no one is watching closely. They are built in early mornings, quiet nights, and long stretches of effort without feedback. That work develops strength. Strength builds certainty. Certainty makes results reliable. Reputation without results is fragile. It depends on opinions and attention. The moment attention fades, so does confidence. Results without reputation are powerful. They create stability. They give you leverage. When results are real, reputation follows naturally. People who focus on reputation often talk more than they act. Talking creates short-term satisfaction. Action creates long-term change. Talking can feel productive, but it does not produce growth. Growth requires discomfort. Silence makes room for that discomfort to be useful. Results require patience. Reputation seeks speed. Speed often skips lessons. Lessons skipped return later with greater cost. When you allow yourself time to learn properly, mistakes become teachers instead of setbacks. There is also freedom in building quietly. You are not pressured to meet expectations you never agreed to. You are free to adjust, fail, learn, and refine. That freedom is valuable. It allows honesty with yourself. Honest effort produces strong. When results are built first, confidence becomes internal. You no longer need approval to feel secure. You know what you can do because you have done it. That knowledge changes how you speak, how you stand, and how you decide. Reputation built early often traps people. They feel forced to protect an image instead of improving ability. They avoid learning because learning requires admitting gaps. Results-focused people welcome learning because improvement is the goal, not appearance. Another advantage of building results first is clarity. You understand what works because you have tested it. You understand your limits because you have reached them. This clarity cannot be gained through discussion or planning alone. It comes from execution. Quiet work also sharpens judgment. Without an audience, choices are made based on effectiveness, not reaction. This leads to better decisions. Better decisions compound over time. When results appear, they speak clearly. They do not need explanation. They do not need defense. They do not depend on belief. They exist. That existence commands respect naturally. Many people worry about being unseen. They fear that silence means being forgotten. In truth, silence is preparation. Being unseen while improving is an advantage. It removes pressure and allows growth at a natural pace. Results also create options. With real ability and proven outcomes, you have choices. You are not dependent on approval or trends. You can move with confidence because your foundation is solid. Building results first teaches humility. You learn that progress is earned, not announced. This humility keeps ego in check. Ego often rushes, discipline waits.